Kenny, what was the focus today?
Oh man, double down on doing the little things, the dirty work. Um, you know, we obviously saw their adjustments, talked about that, but more, you know, everybody, the whole group buying into their role. You know, 1 to 15, and then doubling down on doing all the little things that equal winning.
You mentioned in the past press conference about not wanting to come back 2-2 and kind
Yeah.
of have that mentality of Toronto is a hard place to play.
Yeah.
What it comes down to is the mentality of trying to steal a game. What is that mental process that you go through when you're entering opposition territory?
It's probably similar to game 2 where they came out. They're going to come out again. You know, like I use the word hurricane, whatever word you want to use. Like how do you withstand that physically and mentally? You know, I think if we give them life early, right? You go down 10-2 or a 12-2 run. It's really important right off the bat. You resist. And then obviously the sustain. I think runs become more important on the road when you're the visiting team, right? Like probably earlier timeouts, you know, discussions with the group when they're going to go on an A2 run. Crowds in, what does that look like? But I keep saying, you know, we have a mature group in that sense where we don't lose our cool, we're pretty poised. I think Donovan said, he said it in his press conference, that, you know, I intentionally wait to go to the huddle as those guys spending 2 minutes discussing, you know, what we want to do, if we want to change anything, and then I kind of come in and we decide. So I like our process, you know. So all that, you know, you would like to think that bodes well for us when we go on the road.
And was everyone able to go through practice fully today?
Everyone did. TB was full, right, BJ? I believe. Yeah, he did everything. I know I jumped a little bit ahead with him, but like he did all the practice. Looks really good.
And then one of the adjustments that they made in game 2 at halftime was they sat Hurdle. They started
Yeah.
Gary Boyles in the second
Yeah.
half. It seemed they played smaller. How does that change who they are as a group?
Well, it probably increases their transition offense rate, the rate at which they're going to run. I think that was confirmed. You know, if you look at the stats, they're going to double down on their speed. And then defensively, you know, it means more aggression. Try to turn you over, pick you up higher. And then switch more switching. So we got to be prepared for both. I think that's it. But we definitely saw where their adjustments were.
What have you thought of Evans' aggression level? In the
Oh
first
man,
two
I'm just, you know, I keep saying he's in a great spot. But maybe physically, this is probably the best I've seen him move in 2 years. He's just moving really well. And then confidence, just watching him not only in the games but practice and his shooting, you know, his individuals. It's just like he's kind of in that flow state right now, which equals, you know, super aggressive. Even on the offense, I'm watching him go to the offensive boards. Like it's at another level than it was during the regular season. He's definitely turned it up.
Jarrett wasn't as involved offensively in the second half once they did go smaller. How do you get him more involved in that situation?
You know, these are the little things and the sacrifices you have to make that it might, you know, obviously we got to reward them if they're going to go small and get them down on the mismatches. But now he sacrificed himself with his screening, right? And sometimes, you know, if they have a small on them, or, you know, sometimes we just want him in the dunker, right? Like not in the action all the time, just so he can clean up rebounds, or that puts a small up there as a rim protector, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's like that's part of the little things we need to do and understand that, maybe it isn't, you know, a a situation if they keep making those adjustments where he gets 4 or 5 lob dunks, right? Just maybe you're in the dunker, hanging out more, getting off more offensive rebounds, slipping out of screens instead of setting. You know, and I thought he did. I give him a 10 out of 10 in terms of understanding that, and then sacrificing for the squad. But his impact, after I watched the film, this guy is like way more impactful than even I think. Like his impact is monumental for this team.
This is your first playoff series with James. We've talked a lot about his work ethic that you've seen. How have you seen that show through in his playoff preparation?
Yeah, I just watch his post-practice work. He's with the coach he works with. They're working on stuff they're doing to him individually, right? We have our team concepts, but there's certain things on the dribble they're doing with him that he's recognized on tape, and then he actually takes it to the floor and works on it. It's not just do your routine. It's like, okay, they're doing this to me on my drives. They're doing this to me. They're sending me this direction. I'm going to work on that. So there's a cerebral part of his work, the work he does individually.
What did you see from Jalen Tyson game 2 when you watched it?
How in the NFL they grade. I'd give him a B+ in grade in what we're asking him to do. And I know people, man, he got that offense, like the offensive rebound. He crashed. He got the lefty. He missed it. So I think it was a 7-point game when he hit that corner 3. James throws it across, like, hit your corner 3, right? Is there a play or two you're like, man, it could have been better? Sure. It's with a young player in the playoffs, especially a talented guy, he's got this huge game, right? He's got all this stuff he can do, and now you have to reduce your package. And then you have to be aware now who I'm on the court with. There's another level of, again, sacrifice, and he's getting that. And I told him today, he's up next. Max had that big game. Core 4 had their big games. It's going to be Jalen Tyson. I can almost guarantee that. He's going to have one of those games where he's converting that offensive rebound. He's getting in the half roll because they're playing smaller, and we need him in the half roll. He'll have the big game. It's just a matter of time. It's just really talking to these guys individually about the patience needed until we get there. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from him right now.
You brought up the NFL.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jalen Tyson, where do you have Jordan Tyson going in your mock draft tomorrow?
Oh man, JT's been telling me he's a top 10 pick, so I'm going with that. Top 10, that would be awesome. But I guess we're going to be playing during the draft, so we're going to make sure he gets the news somehow. I know it's playoffs and but that's your family and your brother, so we're going to get that. Get that to him.
Kenny, you frequently highlight the maturity of this group when you
Yeah.
mentioned at the start of this availability, when they're in the huddle, you kind of take a couple minutes and let them talk. How do you strike that balance during this time of year of when you kind of let your leaders step up and when you find your time to get it?
Yeah, it's really a feel. I'm lucky I've been around great coaches that have a great feel for that. Rick Adelman was the best. Rick was, I think, his 4th in all-time wins in the NBA. And he would come to the huddle. He literally wouldn't say a word until 30 seconds left in the huddle. Yao would be talking. They're talking, and then he'd draw up his play. He would never say, "Hey, do this, this, and this." You have to let your especially when you have a veteran team, you have to let them collaborate and breathe and let them get there. And then sometimes you're not saying anything really. You're just letting them talk. So, and then there are other times where you're like, all right, here's the switch. Here's what we got to do. What do you guys think? Boom, go. So that's just a feel, time and score. Who's in the game? What group do you have in the games? A lot of things that go into it.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks
Ken.
everybody.